Are you a professional who wants to become a more effective leader? Then get ready for daily tips from the coach with the experience and inspiration to help you succeed in any leadership situation. You're listening to the Meeting Leadership Podcast with Gordon Shepherd.
Welcome to another episode of the Meeting Leadership Podcast. My name is Gordon Shepherd, and I just want to say thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being the type of professional who really wants to up their leadership skills and learn how to run outstanding meetings, and you're coming to this podcast to do just that, to get the tips, to get the strategies that you need to bring forward so you can take action. Thank you so much for being here. And in today's episode, we get to do one of my favorite things, and that is to hear an inspirational story from one of the great guests that has been on the show. Today, we're lucky to hear from David Papp. He's going to share a story that's going to make you want to jump literally out of your chair wherever you are and get up and get going. And there's some wisdom that I was able to pick up from him, and I know that you're going to get a whole lot out of it as well. So here's an inspirational story from David Papp. David Papp, welcome back to the show. We are so lucky to have you here. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks, Gord. Always a pleasure.
David knocked it out of the park for anybody, any leader that needs information and inspiration about strategy and IT. David is an expert. You've got to go back and catch episode 79, episode 86 on the show. And then today, David was gracious enough to stick around to help us now from more, not so much an IT perspective, but from a leadership perspective. And we're going to be getting into that in just a moment. Now, David, I can tell you, he's a technology expert. He's a self-described serial entrepreneur, maybe a bit of that sort of syndrome where so many things are going on, but he has the ability to actually make it all work. I've seen him as a professional speaker. I've recommended him to my clients to actually help them with their IT, websites, social media needs. He can do so many different things. And David, there's a lot of folks maybe that haven't met you yet, just in case they haven't listened to those other episodes. How would you introduce yourself?
Like you indicated, Gord, I describe myself as a man of many hats. I'm a technology pioneer. I've been doing this for 30 years, and I truly consider myself to have a huge benefit of jumping into technology before the birth of the internet. It was back in the days of bulletin board systems, BBS. And honestly, when we had command line, we were working on MS-DOS, and it wasn't these Windows GUI environments, because you truly got to understand the technology. So my background is a computer engineer. I have a number of industry certifications, and truly I love to play in the areas of cybersecurity and privacy, social media and marketing, technology management, blockchain. I like to play with a little of everything.
Well, and having that big brain on the show has been highly, highly valuable. And with the great leaders that we have on the show, like yourself, I always like to have an episode like this to just ask you a very simple question. And that is this: what inspires you?
Well, Gord, over the years, that has kind of shifted depending on different influential people within my life or things that I follow online or shows I watch on YouTube. But lately, I got to say one thing that's helped me and my staff is Gary V. It's the Gary Vaynerchuck. Gary Vaynerchuck is an amazing speaker. He can be very raw sometimes when you're listening to him, but he has some very insightful things to say. And my favorite by far is just do it. One thing that we tend to do, a lot of us, is we're having a meeting. You're creating a new project. You've got a new website you want to launch, a new service, a new product, and you overthink it. It's never done. It's always stuck at 80% done, 95, even 99% done. But to cross the finish line, you're never quite happy. You tweak it, you make changes, you're overthinking it, and it never actually launches. So we'll sit down and we're having these meetings and brainstorming discussions with my staff and I, and you can tell that we've gone off on another tangent or we're getting a little too crazy on our idea. And we'll turn around and we'll look at each other and we'll say, Gary V, let's Gary V this thing. And what that means to us internally is to Gary V something means just cut it right there. Let's launch it. Let's try it. Let's see. Let's throw that wet toilet paper against the wall and see if it sticks. And then you don't waste too much more energy because let's face it, we spend 20% of our time getting 80% of the way in an idea, but it takes us 80% of the time to finish that last 20%. In fact, I think it's even more, like way, way more.
Oh, I could not agree more. I can tell you, you're so tweaking my 52-year-old self right now. I've got a couple of these university degrees under my belt, and I used to think that was a great thing until I got into this solo entrepreneur scenario where perfectionism, I didn't realize. I thought I was just being perfect, like picking the perfect font for a website or having the perfect document to take over to a client meeting. It's absolutely useless when it comes to focusing on the things that you need to do. And the big gift that I got in relation to this was get away from A+. A+ is fine for school. In life, get a lot of B- done and you will get way more done.
Absolutely, Gord. And a side joke that we have to this is that nobody's looking at it anyways. We're the only ones who are looking at our website. And honestly, our traffic levels, it's not like we have a viral website or something with 1 million views per day or month or whatever. It might be like 10 views or 20 views. So if nobody's even looking at it, why are we being so critical of ourselves?
Well, and this sort of perfection paralysis, Gary V is someone who helps you to overcome that.
He is. I find him very inspirational with a lot of his messages. I really like how he's tackled things. I mean, he's the guy, he was known as the wine guy. He'd find the perfect food to pair a wine with. It got down, he had a show. It was even so much where he'd like say, you know, with this hot dog, I would consider this wine to be the perfect drink to accompanies it because it brings out the, you know, the flavors of, like, it was awesome. Like, the guy is truly very creative. He's built his entire empire, Vaynerchuck Media, from nothing. And he has got a show. He's got guys who can follow him along. Like, I mean, he's built his empire up to that point. But I just find his message very inspirational of, you know, stop overthinking this stuff, you guys. Let's just get this done. Let's just do it. See what happens and move along. And we'll be able to do so many other things within the organizations and enact so many other ideas that we have if we don't get caught up on these ones that we want to perfect.
Well, and this is really consistent with what you brought forward for leaders in the other episodes where you're just recommending, you know, getting started, getting a few questions answered about their IT needs, for example. I think this type of message from your inspirational story is really going to resonate with the audience. David, if people need to get in touch with you, how can they do that?
The best way is my website. It's my name, davidpapp.com. I've got a whole bunch of different information on there and contact and whatnot. But honestly, I'm all over social media. You just punch in my name to Google and it comes up. It even brings up all the old stuff from the past. I always laugh about that. It's one of the best things everybody should do is to put in their own name into Google and see what comes up.
That can be a good thing or it can be a bad thing. I'm glad you're proud of it. That means you've lived a pretty good life. If you're bold enough to put that out there, that's a really good thing. David Papp, thank you so much for being on the show again.
Anytime, Gord. Always a pleasure.
Doesn't that inspirational story make you want to just get up and get doing things? Get away from A+, get away from perfectionism. It's B- time so you can get more done and get things out the door. What a great leadership gift to yourself. And just as a reminder, if you'd like to get in touch with David directly, visit davidpapp.com. That's David, Papp.com. And if you really enjoyed listening to him as much as I enjoyed interviewing him, then check out episode 79 on the Meeting Leadership podcast. It's called Why All Leaders Need an IT Audit. And that interview with David is available at meetingleadershipinc.com/79. And then, if you want the 30,000 foot in the air leadership view, check out episode 86 on the podcast. It's called Why All Leaders Need an IT Strategy. And again, David gives you so many great tips that you can put to use right away. It's really worth listening to, and it's available at meetingleadershipinc.com/86. And I also want to let you know that this episode of the Meeting Leadership Podcast is brought to you by the Meeting Leadership Academy. Now there, I am so proud of all the great live training and online training options that you can get to build your leadership skills and learn how to run outstanding meetings. And if you'd like to learn more, just visit meetingleadershipinc.com/academy. And if you haven't subscribed to the podcast just yet, please go ahead and do that. And if you could leave a rating and a review, that would be very, very helpful so that we can get more great ideas to pass along to people just like you to help you build your leadership skills. And as always, thank you so much for listening. And we'll see you tomorrow on the Meeting Leadership Podcast.
Thanks for listening to the Meeting Leadership Podcast. Be sure to subscribe for more strategies to help you become an outstanding leader. And don't forget to rate and review so we can bring you fresh content every day. We'll see you tomorrow, right here on the Meeting Leadership Podcast.
I'm on top of the world, now I'm living. And the good just gets better, keeps on giving. Not even close to the end.